Well, I generally don't like to be serious about anything. So what did I do? I got involved with an industry that is probably the most regulated and has the most rules out of any industry out there, aviation. Hi, welcome to the Super Pilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and I'm going to be a little bit serious today in my basement. Okay, so this is one of those things that it, I was thinking about it the other day. Okay, it's just the way I get my topics for all of these things. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's like I remember a while back that there was a crew that was stuck in the Dominican Republic, and I wonder what happened with that. So I did a little Google search, and they're still under arrest down there, down in Punta Cana. I'm like, what? This has been like, was it 4 months now? It was April 5th that they. I'll kind of let you in on, from what I can tell, the last article, and I'll put a link below to the article that I'm referencing. So yeah, they were in Punta Cana. They went to go. They were going to be flying their airplane out, coming back to Canada, and they noticed that there was a warning light on. So they went and checked it out, and it turns out that somebody had stuck a whole bunch of stuff in the avionics bay, the part of the airplane. And so I guess maybe the door wasn't closed or something. That's why they would have gotten the warning light. And yeah, they found a whole bunch of cocaine in there, and they were just about to like leave, and they said, "Whoa, okay, what's the company procedure? We got to tell someone about this. We can't just bring this cocaine back to Canada." So they told the local authorities, and they did everything that they're supposed to do. They got thrown in a narcotics prison or something like that down in Dominican Republic. And that's like something I remember that when it happened a few months ago. And I thought, geez, that's something that could happen to every pilot out there. You're doing your job, everything's through, and it doesn't have to be the Dominican Republic. It could be any country. It could be, you don't know what your passengers are bringing on board. You can't look at everything in the airplane. I mean, security does a pretty good job of screening things, but depending on where you're flying, there might not be security. So that could be. I've flown charters to places where I don't know. I didn't look in their bags or anything. What are they bringing? I don't know. So I mean, this is like that. I remember that from a few months ago, and I thought, geez, that could happen to any pilot out there, and it's pretty scary. And so I Googled it up the other day, and it's like they're still in jail down there. So I was thinking, if that was me and I was stuck there, I guess they're in a residence right now under armed guard, so they can't leave. They can't leave the country, and they're just kind of stuck, And so one of those things. I remember seeing an interview with somebody once that did some time in jail, and he said that is the sooner you can accept the fact that, okay, this is my life now. Here I am in jail. So the people in the Dominican Republic, okay, this is my life. I have no idea what's going to happen at the end of this, but I just got to make the best of where I am now, and everything's out of my control at this point because I'm in jail or in residence under armed guard. So anyways, from the article, I actually printed it out. So the crew involved was, and I'm just kind of reading from the article. It's been a nightmare, no kidding. For flight attendant Alex Razov of Toronto, Captain Robert DiVinazzo of Guelph, co-pilot Atif Safdar of Hamilton, mechanical engineer Balakrishna Dubey of Mississauga, and flight attendant Christina Carello of Brampton. They feel like they are forgotten. No, you are not forgotten. I was remembering you, and I still am. And I hope that, it's just like these people have been in prison for doing the right thing. And that just seems so wrong, right? But it's like, that's life. Sometimes you do the right thing and something goes, you do the best you can. And like with all things aviation, things screw up and you do the best you can. So it seems to me that they did a good job there, but it doesn't seem right that they're still in jail. So, I think for all the pilots out there, maybe, and I'm trying to think, how could this, I think eventually this is all going to get worked out and they're going to make their way back to Canada. It just seems that, there's things getting done, and I'm sure that the all the people that are involved, whether it's Transport Canada or Canada Border Services, like I'm sure there's stuff going on there. I sure hope there is, and like I hope that like the members of parliament aren't just like drinking mai tais beside the pool and saying, "Oh, I'm on vacation. Yeah, yeah. I'll deal with those guys in jail later." Like, I mean, I'm gonna fly around on my jet a little bit. Yeah, who knows? So, yeah, yeah, I really hope someone's working on that, and probably they are. But so let's think in the future here. We're going to assume that we're going to put out the good vibes out there. We're going to assume they're going to come back here at some point. In the meantime, it could be worse. They could be stuck in, I don't know, a prison in Siberia. At least, they could be freezing. So there's something there, right? Got to look on the bright side of everything. But eventually they'll get back to Canada, and I think that airline's going to have to hire another crew because I don't think they're going to go back to the Dominican. And that raises a question too, that after this, the pilot community in Canada is very small, and like I don't know any of those people that are on the crew personally, but I'll bet you any money I know somebody that knows one of them, and that's how small the aviation community is here. And if the word gets out that if the Dominican Republic is going to do this to put people in jail for doing the proper thing, how many pilots are going to be flying down to the Dominican Republic? I mean, you can always get some young pilot that say, "Oh yeah, I'll fly. I don't care." A lot of those guys, I've heard of a few where "Oh yeah, I'll fly into that tornado," and then they die. So, I mean, you got to be, there's always some younger, more eager pilot that can go take that trip. But, I think it's like the people in the Dominican Republic, I mean, they get a lot of tourist money from Canada. And, I wouldn't want them to maybe it's some kind of a misunderstanding or something like that. I wouldn't want them to lose that many, millions of dollars a year because pilots refuse to fly down there, because of a misunderstanding. And then I'm thinking past this is that, okay, we have to have like this is a great example of how in aviation something happens and then you make a rule. There's the greatest example of that is crash in Dryden, where they were going to take off and the wings had some snow on them. The wing was contaminated. They took off and the plane crashed. So after that, they made it the regulation at that point was to, okay, nothing on the wings when you're taking off except for approved de-icing fluid. That's it. Okay, so unfortunately, some people died in that crash. Unfortunately, in this case, people are being detained, and I'm sure things will work themselves out. How can we prevent that in the future now so that flight crew are not detained in some country somewhere? There should be something going. And I mean, because you're dealing internationally, it's tricky. You could do, I can imagine something where, ICAO would be involved, or some international, the aviation body. There should be some kind of uniform process which is acceptable to all the ICAO countries, where if crew is doing this, and they already have some what would you call that? I guess some rules about that, where if you're a crew, you can do, you can kind of do this, whereas a regular passenger can't. And so yeah, if they could just have some kind of a policy on narcotics or something, or smuggling, or human trafficking, whatever, get some kind of international thing there, so that if this happens again, where, oh, hey, I found a bunch of cocaine on my plane. Let me talk to this guy here. He's the guy designated by ICAO. He's the local, or she's the local contact person to deal with the local authorities, and and everything works out. So I think a lot of this is a miscommunication among different police agencies in the Dominican Republic, Canada Border Services, immigration. Like, there's a lot of lot of uh, uncoordination, I guess you would call it. So hopefully in the future we'll get that crew all back and then fix this problem. I'd be really interesting to I'd be really interested to see how that would work. And now that I'm semi-retired, if anyone out there, Canada Border Services or Transport Canada or anything, to prevent this, I would be willing to help out on that. I got some time on my hands. I could do that. Putting it out there. I'm a qualified pilot guy. Hey, so there we go. What else can I say? Oh, and that got me thinking again about like drugs and borders and like if you're a pilot and you're in the industry, how can I put this? I've heard this from many people that various people will say, "Hey, oh, you're a pilot. Can you fly this from here to there?" And then I heard that back in when I was in college, somebody said, "Oh, you can fly? How about you fly this plane from there to there and bring this with you, and I'll pay you this much money once you get your license." And I know that's someone that's happened to, and I've heard other stories of that happening to pilots all over the place. If you're up north, there's always somebody that wants you to maybe there's a dry reserve there and they want you to smuggle in some booze for them. It's like, it's booze goes for lots of money because it's a contraband on a dry reserve. So, I mean, that's not good the band put up that rule for a reason and you don't want to be breaking that rule and you're getting in trouble. The carrier that you're working for is getting in trouble, yeah. But so this whole thing about pilots and drugs, it's part of the career. If you're in transportation, you're trucking, same thing. You got to watch out for it. And I guess I don't know. I'm going to try to give you a couple tips here today about crossing borders, or just a couple tips, maybe something you didn't think about. So a few years ago, we got a visit from the Canadian Border Services Agency. And they told us kind of like just gave us a little chat on okay, what to watch out for if people want to charter our planes, and maybe they're smuggling something somewhere, transporting something that looks suspicious. So the big takeaway I had on that one was hockey bags. Now, hockey bags are okay if it's the wintertime and it's in your car and you're close to an arena. Yeah, it's normal to have a hockey bag around. But any other place, having a hockey bag is, what's in that? And apparently that's the number one bag of choice for people that are, smuggling crystal meth, ecstasy, and fentanyl, I think. This was a little bit before the fentanyl thing. But yeah, so I mean, if you got like guys, oh yeah, take me here. I'm going up to Toronto, and I just came from Detroit, and I got these two great big hockey bags. Take me up to Toronto now. Well, okay, well, my car broke down. Whatever. Hockey bags. Can I look in the hockey bag? No. Okay, no, we can't do it. So watch out for hockey bags, you pilots. And then another thing too. Because I live in Windsor, which is right across the border from Detroit, I've known this for years. If you're taking any kind of pain medication, like say like Tylenol 3s or 292s, I think it is. Anyways, the pills that have the aspirin with codeine or acetaminophen with codeine. Anyways, codeine, you can get that over the counter in Canada, but in the States, you have to get a prescription for it. So if you're bringing, say, Tylenol 3s, you're bringing them big jar of those. Maybe you're going down to Florida for the winter. If you're a senior citizen and, oh, yeah, my back hurts, I like to use these Tylenol 3s. They work. You go get yourself a couple of jars of those. You bring them across the border. They look in your car and it's like, oh, do you have a prescription for these? No, I just bought them at the drugstore. Oh, you don't have a prescription for him, eh? Well, pull over your car here. And now you're being charged with, you didn't tell me about this. So now you're being charged with smuggling opiates across the border. And grandma's like, what do you mean? I use it for my back. Well, you're still smuggling opiates. Same thing is like, hey, grandma, you got a kilo of heroin? Same thing. So it's like, you got to watch it when you're crossing the border. So that's one tip. I bet you most people didn't know that. Codeine is an opiate. same as heroin, morphine, oxycontin, all that stuff. It's just a dialed down opiate, and yeah, it's according to the border going into the states. You can get in some big trouble for that. So I would say, and then just recently there was what was it that the basketball player girl that she got arrested going into Russia, and I guess she had some weed on her or something, but from what I heard, it was like medical or something. But she didn't look into the rules of crossing a border with medication. So it's like that's one thing. Pilots, you're flying around from if once you get into, uh, if you're getting flying your big jet around over to Europe and India or China or Malaysia or something, you don't want to be bringing anything in there that they don't like because it's where is it, Indonesia or Malaysia? One of those. It's like death penalty for bringing it in. Is that Indonesia? I think it's Indonesia. Anyways, don't bring drugs across the border unless you know for sure you can, and do your research on that to find out the best you can. So that got me thinking about that. But okay. All right. That's about it. Well, what else was I going to tell you about borders and drugs? All that fun stuff. Yeah, hockey bags. Watch out for your bringing stuff over the border with your codeine, and the crew down in Dominican Republic. We're still rooting for you. Hang in there. You'll be back in Canada before you know it, and to their families and coworkers and friends and stuff. You guys hang in there too. So that is about it, and I'll give you an update. Actually, yeah, what was this here? I was gonna I'll do a slime check here too. I just added some extra persimmon tomato seeds over here. This doesn't have anything to do with drugs, but look at that. Oh, we got some mold growing. That's good. Can you see? Probably not. Okay, so that's all gooey. There's some white hairy mold growing over there, so that's what you want. It's starting to stink too. Now let's see how the watermelon beefsteaks are doing. Gotta have a time check and a slime check. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we got the mold. Check it out. Can you see little white hairy things floating around? Maybe not. Oh, yeah, there you go. Ooh, there we go. We got some good mold growing right on top. That's what you want to see. I'll give that another couple more days, and we'll do our next step and dry them out. So, okay, there we go. So I'm doing that because I'm going to do my kind of daily time check, slime check, because eventually I'm going to have a how to store your tomato seeds video, and then it'll be kind of I'll edit all this stuff together and do that. Yeah, okay. That is about it. So I guess we're going to shut her down. Nobody's in the chat. Drugs are bad. And the crew in, it just kills me that could happen to that crew down in that Canadian crew in the Dominican Republic in Punta Cana. It's like, it could happen to anybody, so keep that in mind. Talk to if you're a pilot, ask your bosses about, hey, what do I do if that happens to me? What's the company going to do about that? What's the union going to say about that? Next time you see a Transport Canada person, ask them about it. Next time you see the Minister of Transport, ask them about it. Canada, sir, if you're working at for the customs or something like that, ask your boss, what happens about that. So the link is below to the article that I was talking about. And if you see Justin Trudeau, just just say to him, we still got these Canadians down there. Are you doing anything about it, man? Who'd you deal that off to? And Justin, if you need to deal that off to somebody, there's a guy in his basement willing to help. So superpilotish at gmail.com. Okay. I'm here if you need me. Okay, so we're going to shut her down. And thank you for watching. Bye.